What's up, internet? It's your home skillet, Nikki G here, and welcome to part 2. This is mainly just my BL, so if you have been waiting since last week, I am so sorry. It just was too long, so now I'm separating them. I do have to do a correction because I realized when I was editing this, it's not all BL. Like 90%, no, 99.9% of it is BL, and then like tiny percent is like regular manga, and I think it's like one manga that's just regular. So here's my manga collection with lots of BL. I hope you enjoy. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first series that I got was On or Off Again, and this is volume 3 and 4. So this follows a young man who is a university student named Ah. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not really good with names. I'm sorry. And so he ends up joining his friend's startup company, and so he has really good social skills. So he's helping them out to present it to a big corporation, and he ends up basically having to do it in front of like the director of this company called Kong, and he's like this big shot executive. He's really handsome, and then he realized that he is his ideal type of a man. So when his presentation fails to go as planned, his desire to impress him leads him to take desperate measures and lands him in a whole new mess tangled up between his personal professional relationship. How is he willing to go to achieve success in both his love life and his career? This is like a major misunderstanding trope. There is an age gap. I think they're probably like 10 years apart. It's funny, it's cute, and I think this is also Korean, and it's all in color. So I've been loving this series. So number 4 is the newest one. I can't wait for it to continue. It did leave off with a big cliffhanger, so I can't wait to read the rest. Okay, next one is Fashioned Cupcakes. This is a standalone, and I found this really, really sweet. Get it? Anyways, this follows a 30-year-old man named Nose who lives a routine, if not mollycolly, life of sleep and work. So that's all he does every day, 24/7. And then he ends up having a new co-worker called Twang, and he's much younger than him, so he's showing him the ropes. And Twang realizes his life seems really troubling, and he takes it upon himself to shake up his routine. So one day for lunch, instead of following O's to his regular hangout, he takes them to a pancake shop that's mostly filled with young women, and so they end up finding out that they both love sweets. And they start a friendship, and it might turn into something naughty. Who knows? It's explicit. Straight up. It says it right there on the cover. I love it. The next one is a part of a new series called Happy Crappy Life. This is volume 1. This one follows a young man called Azyu who ends up getting demoted and exiled to the boonies because his boss discovers his late night hardcore fun he was having in the office. All I have to say, why were you doing it in the office, dude? So he's very eager to reclaim his honor and return to the big city. So Azyu goes to mingle at the local bar where Yuza, his worthless and jobless neighbor, basically tells everyone his love for hardcore stuff to the whole town. To help Azyu, Yuza basically tells him the back door feels amazing, and this starts their really weird friendship of probably sexy time. Okay, the next one is Golden Sparkle, and so this one is a standalone, and this straight up is just porn in a book. This follows a young man called Hiro who is having a great time with his first year of high school, except for one problem he's having, and he's constantly having wet dreams, and he is too embarrassed to ask his mom and sister, and also he skipped health class in middle school, so he has no idea what's going on, and he believes something is terribly wrong with him. So thankfully he made a new friend, and that new friend helps him with the remedy and teaches him exactly how to deal with those pesky dreams. And this leads to more confusion, and the two find themselves navigating feelings they've never felt before. Oh my god, it's just, I can't wait. Okay, the next one is a series, and that's Only the Flowers Knows. I have 1 and 2. I believe it's a duology. I could be wrong. I read this a long time ago, and I finally have the copies in my hand. So this story follows 2 young men in university, and they end up always crossing paths to the point where they start acknowledging each other, and they start like this whirlwind romance. This is like on the sadder side, and it's just I find it kind of cute. So if you like books that make you have like wretched emotions where you're crying, sobbing, this is the series for you. Not unless it just made me cry and it didn't make you cry, but it did. It was just emotional for me. I really like the series. The next one is a standalone, and that's a complicated Omega Second Love. So this is Omega versus Trope. This one follows a Omega who essentially wants to overcome his gender by being the best he can in sports, schoolwork, and now in his office. And so he lives in a world where Omegas are basically judged harshly because of their gender, but he wants to prove them wrong. And so this ends up kind of backfiring on him just a tad bit because in his new workplace, he ends up getting mated to the alpha who works there, who everybody's like obsessed with, and he wasn't. So this is a oopsies mating, and I hope it turns out sweet. It seems sweet to me, but sometimes these can go either or with these. Either it's like really bad or really good or very toxic. There's no in between. The next one is Platinum Bled, and this seems like a standalone, and I really hope it's not because I love the plot of this book so much. So this follows a vampire called Al, and he essentially has been living at a church since he was a kid, and he is really attached to one of the priests called Cayman. And so now, since he's all grown up and he's like overly well-meaning, handsome, and all this stuff, he has needs. And Cayman believes those needs are basically blood. And so he goes like, I'm gonna show you how to feed on people, specifically on me. And Al is like, no, bro, I want all of you, not just your blood. So it gets really kinky, vampire kink, if you're into that. Oh my god, what am I reading? The next book is a standalone as well, and that is Be My Love, My Lord. This is a world where humans keep beasts and beasts obey humans. So you follow our lonely Raj, who has a basement servant called Tashubaki, and they're basically inseparable because Raj is the second son in his family, so he kind of feels like he's the spare, so no one cares about him. So he takes a liking to his beastman, Tasha Baki, and they basically fall in love for each other, and it just ends up with them trying to have a relationship that no one approves of. And it's so cute. I wish there was more to the story. The next one is a series, and that is My Love Mix Up 7 and 8. So this follows Oki, who has a crush on a girl who sits next to him in class, but one day he needs an eraser, so he asks his crush if he could borrow her eraser. And then he finds out that his crush has a crush on someone else, and that is the boy who's in front of him, and that's Ida. So to make this more confusing for everybody, Ida finds out that Oki has a crush on him, and it's just a misunderstanding that turns into a awakening of sexuality for both of them because they didn't even realize they might be into guys. And I find this so cute and just really funny, and it's about friendship and just your sexuality. Okay, the next one is a series, and that's Barbarities. I butchered that so bad. So I finally have 1 and 2, and I'm so freaking excited because I ended up reading this online, and then I saw them in my bookstore, and I'm like, I have to have these. So this follows Lord Montague, whose life is threatened. So a Viscount named Adam is assigned to be his bodyguard. And basically, Adam is your typical bro. He's dashing and he woos everyone, and everybody always wants a piece of him because he is hot. So Adam has never had like a connection with anyone until he meets Lord Montague, and he is in charge of taking care of his nephew named Joel. And Joel apparently is the opposite of Adam in every way, but Adam is just immediately smitten with Joel. But Joel does not care whatsoever of Adam, and so he basically tries to ignore him, but Adam does everything just to piss him off, and it's just really cute, and it's like this whole thing of unrequited love. And sometimes you don't like the bro in stories, but Adam is such a likable character, and he's like a golden retriever, and you're like, oh my god, you're so sweet, and you're like, Joel, pay attention to him. Okay, the next one is a standalone, and once again, I wish it wasn't, and that is I Didn't Mean to Fall in Love. This one is heartbreaking. So, this all starts as a one night stand. So, we follow our main character, Yoshi Ino, and he's turning 30. And so, he's basically given up on everything about love, and so he just really wants to have he wants to do the deed. He wants to do the sexy time. And so he prepares himself to go to a gay bar where he ends up meeting Rue, who's a charming silver-haired college student who is everything that Yoshi Ino isn't. So he's mysterious, assertive, and experienced with both men and women, and Yoshi finds himself like attracted to Rue, and so they start this really awkward courtship which turns really steamy, but Yoshino doesn't know if it's love because he's never actually had a serious relationship. And so it's just heart wrenching to read this just because it's like unrequited love and just coming to your own to finally accepting who you are. The next one is a standalone, and it is Why Don't You Eat Me, My Dear Wolf, and this is straight up porn. I'm not gonna lie. I picked it up because I love Little Red Riding Hood, and this is a smutty version of that with a lot of hints of Beauty and the Beast in this. So we followed our little tiny boy named Taro, and he has been essentially picked to be sacrificed to the monstrous wolf who lives in the woods, and that's Euro. And Euro basically, he's like, I'm not gonna eat this kid. He's just a kid. He's skinny, and I'm gonna take care of him. So he ends up taking care of him, and so a few years pass, and Taro has finally grown up, and he has I guess Stockholm syndrome because he is obsessed with Euro, and Euro basically still sees him as this little kid. And so Taro essentially plots a plan to get into Euro's bed. And so this is them playing very kinky Little Red Riding Hood by saying, "Oh, how big your eyes are," and so forth. And look how cute they are. He's so tiny in this. And so yeah, I don't know if he's a wolf the whole entire time or what, but I'm curious to read this. And yeah, wish me luck. The next one is a series, and that is Titan's Bride. This is volume 3. So we follow a senior named Koshi, and he's about to graduate from high school, so he's ready set to be out in the big world until all of a sudden he suddenly finds himself in a world of titans. Not only is he no longer anywhere near home, but one of the giants named Prince Cassian has claimed Koshi as his bride. And thanks to disturbing world ending prophecy, the prince's upcoming nuptials cannot be with anyone of this world. Since Caspian has no plans to send Koshi back to Earth, he is wholeheartedly set on taking Koshi as his wife. And it is hints a lot at Omegaverse. And I love the catchphrase in this because it says, "In a world of giants, there is no such thing as a little crush." Hardy har har. Okay, the next one is this Dandelone, and this was Hidojima's boyfriend. So this is a spin-off slash prequel. So this follows the side character relationship, because there is a relationship in Hidojima My Hero story, and this is about the little brother of how him and his boyfriend became to be and how their relationship was very rocky in the beginning until they ended up becoming a couple. The next one is a series, and that is Love Illusion Volume 2. So we follow an Omega with alpha attitude, and that is Hung Sung. He has spent his whole life believing he was an alpha, and he always believed he hit the jackpot of genetic lottery, whoop whoop. But it's not true. He is not an alpha whatsoever. He's actually a submissive Omega instead, because his blood work was mistaken. So his whole life he thought he was an alpha. And so he ends up getting really frustrated because the person who finds out about this is a true alpha. His name is Dojon, and Dojon cannot stand Omegas whatsoever, but for some reason he's obsessed with Hee-sung, and they end up having this explosive and sizzling chemistry. But is it pheromones? Is it true love? What is going on? And all I have to say is the drawing of them is so pretty. I can't whatsoever stand it. And I don't know if you already guessed, it is Omegaverse, so it's a third sex is in here. I find this really funny and really cute. So if you need a good laugh and sort of like a rom-com, this is the book for you. Not all of it is colored, but some pages are if you were curious. Okay, next series is The Dragon's Betrothed 1 and 2. This is actually a arranged marriage trope. So we follow Chichiran, who is a author who's having some hard time writing at the moment, so he decides to go home to basically rest and try to get his imagination going. Turns out that he was betrothed to a dragon named Rin, and now they're meant to be together. And Chichiran does not know how to take this, and he tries to get away, but he's not sure if he can or is he falling in love. Dun, dun, dun. So the next one is a series, and that's Masuki and Taskumi 1 and 2. I love the series so much. So this follows an Omega named Taskumi who's a delinquent, and he hates alphas, so he beats them up if they annoy him. And so one day he ends up beating these alphas from this elite school who's been attacking other Omegas from his school. And so this gets word to basically another delinquent called Magasami, who's in this elite school, who's technically not really a delinquent, but he's supposed to be like this bad boy, and his dad is basically the director. So he takes it upon himself to find this other guy who beat up his friends and take revenge. And then he finds out that Taskumi is an Omega and he's going into heat, and Masagami does not know what to do because he is being affected by his pheromones, and he tells him that you need to do something about this. And Taskami basically tells him, I am not going to heat because I am doing willpower for it not to happen. And it's just hilarious, and I love it, and they're so cute together. And the fact that he is not a typical Omega makes me so happy because he is really badass. He's very powerful and he knows it. So I hope you guys pick it up. The next one is a new series for me, and that is My Dear Agent. This is volume 1. So this one I just like because of the cover, I'm not gonna lie. So this one follows a professional bodyguard named Richie, and he is employed to protect the son of a leader of a large conglomerate and takes his work really seriously. So one day he is tasked to train a newbie called Tashibani, and he is unfortunately has no money, no place to go, so Richie takes pity on him and lets him stay with him. But this turns really weird for Richie because now Tachibana is flirting with him endlessly and he doesn't know what's going on, and he gets really flustered. I feel like this is mistaken identity. I don't know why, but that's how I feel about this, and I can't wait to read it. The next manga is a series, and that is Cherry Magic 30 Years of Virginity Can Make You a Wizard, volume number 7. So this is one of my favorite series, and it's just straight up a rom-com. So if you like rom-coms, this is for you. This follows a young man named Archie who turns 30 years old, and for some weird reason, he ends up being able to hear other people's thoughts by touching him. So one day when he's at the office, one of his coworkers that's not even in the same department as him comes by, and he accidentally touches him and realizes this coworker is in love with him, and not just a crush, like full on lustful thoughts where it is a straight porno in his own head too. And he has no idea how to handle it. Last but not least, it's A Man and His Cat volume 8. So this is the one and only manga that I have that is not BL that I recently got. This is cozy manga, which has no high stakes or anything in it. It's sort of like a comic strip, so it's a really simple book, and it's sort of like if you read the newspaper comics, so they're really short mini stories inside of it. And this follows a man who ends up adopting this really ugly cat. I personally don't think his cat is ugly. I think he's really adorable, but everyone in this series says his cat is ugly, and I'm like, that's so mean. But this cat basically worms his way into this old man's heart because this man has been grieving for his wife, and this cat helps him come out of his shell and actually find happiness again with the friends and family around him, and it's so cute. Okay, that is it for my manga haul. Mostly all BL. I hope you guys enjoy this, and if you end up picking any of these books up, let me know. Or if you have any recommendations that I should try out, also let me know because I um am catching up to my BL way too quickly and I need new recommendations. So that is it. I guess I'll catch you on the flip side.